My name is Adeyinka Adewumi.
And I remain the only Olaiwola AY.
AY the ambassador.
AY the ambassador.
Yes, this question is really burning in our hearts, and I believe a lot of parents out there as well, they're really concerned. And we just thought on Home Affair today that we should talk about it. Whose responsibility is it? Is it the child, or the parent, the government, or the church?
Wow.
We want to know who is responsible for the crimes and the gangs and the guns that is going out on the streets now. We want to know.
Maybe we can as well bring you a little bit. It's a bit, if you have children around you, maybe you ask them to put their hands and block their ears off, because over, as we are talking now, I think it's over 46 people have been killed on the streets of London alone this year, and that's London City alone. In the United Kingdom. You know, sometimes we focus so much on what some terrorist groups are doing out there, and then we make it big in the media, and we say, oh, these people, they are wicked and this, but a lot is happening around us. A lot, so much is happening around us, and we cannot just keep quiet, and just forget about it. So the question today, as we will repeat the question again, and as we are saying this, we want you to please interact with us. You can type in your questions, or you can type in your contribution, or if you think you know who the responsibility is. We mentioned the government, we talk about this, we've mentioned the school, we've mentioned the parents, we've mentioned religious bodies as well, not just the church. Religious bodies as well. We're talking about the mosque and the church and the temples around there and the synagogues. Is it their responsibility? Is it even the responsibility of the children themselves, are we going to blame them for what is going on out there? So can you please call somebody, stay together with us, share this video, let's rub minds together, because, when we come together, something good will come out of it. Iron sharpeneth iron, and two heads are definitely better than one.
I read somewhere, I read this somewhere, it said, I want us to listen to the mind of a child. And maybe from there, just maybe, I just shoot for the fun of it. Everybody does it. Most of my friends have guns. That doesn't mean we are criminals. This is what a child wrote. What do you have to say about that?
Shoot for fun.
For fun.
I think the idea of a gun. Let me just say thank you to Pauline for being online with us. Pauline, please type your question, make a contribution, call us in the studio. You have our number. It's 079-603-91973. And Oliver, you can call us in the studio. Let's hear what you have to say on these mind-boggling things going on around us. So this man says he just shoots for fun. But when he shoots, does he just kill for fun as well? Because the idea behind making a gun is for war, I believe, in the beginning, was to fight wars and to go on and conquer your enemy. But when a teenager or a young person carries a gun on the street, I think it's potent. I think it's litter. I think it's something that shouldn't be allowed at all. So for him to say he's carrying a gun for fun, and people should not demonize them, isn't it? That was what you said.
No, he said, I just shoot for fun. Everybody does it. Most of my friends have guns. That doesn't mean we are criminals.
So what are they then?
I don't know. I want the audience or the viewers.
Criminals. Somebody is a criminal when you do something against the law.
The law, yeah.
You understand? You automatically become a criminal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you carry arms and you're harming people. So when you carry arms, whether you're shooting it or you are using it for other purposes, like they say, I'm just carrying it for fun. I don't think anyone would carry gun for fun. Looking at what our teenagers and young adults are exhibiting these days, the kind of anger that arose within them just for little things, I think it's a very, very dangerous thing to say you carry gun for fun. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Pauline Lehman. She said, where did the idea of shooting for fun come from? Who are the role models? Thank you very much for that.
We are going to get to that one.
We will talk about the role models. I don't know where this word is, coming to or going to or changing into. Again, I read a parent said, I want to believe that it's not about the gun, but about money. They are saying that these children are going out there and they're turning into criminals, not because of the gun, but because they want to make quick money. What do you think about that?
What they want to make quick money from what? From shooting? I don't get it. Really. I don't want to assume that I know what's going on in their mind.
In their mind.
Maybe if a teenager is listening, you can hide your identity, you can call us in the studio. Let's just know what's going on. Or even after the show, you may want to drop a line and say, oh, you don't understand anything. This is it, this is it, this is it. Maybe we will understand it better. But I just want to bring out some things. The topic says, who is responsible for the moral decay? So when we say moral, what does moral actually mean to you and I? Growing up, some of us had it rough. And we thought, oh wow, if I have once I begin to have my own kid, I'm not going to treat this kid of mine the same way I was treated and I was brought up. And so we want to make everything comfortable for this kid or this child that we have. By the end of the day, what moral are we really passing on to them? I think that's the most important thing, because I said the morals were beaten into us. By force, by fire, by force, you just have to do what your parents want, what they like. You have to just flow with them. That was during our own time. But these days, it's not like that. You understand me? So, actually, when we say moral is decaying, who is responsible for it?
Okay, I just want to take us to the Bible, because the Bible says that we should train up a child in the way they should go, and when they grow up, they will not depart from it. So, who was the Bible referring to in there that we should train the child? Is it the parent's fault? And at what time, what age can we pass all these morals into that child that you're talking about? And where should they get these morals from? Is it from the society? Is it from the religious body, or from the government? Because a lot of parents are saying they are not in charge of these kids, because the government are like tying their hands up in raising these kids, so they can't.
Everyone's hands are like tied.
They're tied, so they can't raise this child properly, like the Bible has said. So who is responsible for it?
That's the confusion out there. That's the confusion out there. But one thing I have to say is this: let's take it from the school. The school. And when we send our kids to school, I think statistically, they spend more time in school with teachers than they spend with us. So, and the unfortunate thing about it is that the little time that should have been the one allocated to us and the kids, we still struggle to give it to them, because we go to work, we have church commitment, and other meetings, societies, a voluntary job, and everything is just stress. And it's like, at the end of the day, you can calculate that some people don't spend more than half an hour with their kids. And by the time they come home, probably these kids are still awake. And they're saying, Daddy, can I have a word? Oh, you know what? I'm so tired today. I'm stressed out. And even when some people manage to give them the time, you know what they do? It's an annoyance. What do you mean? You don't understand this own word? Oh, when I was your age. And it's blah, 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 blah. And so that's the school aspect of it. Now let's come back to the government. You understand me? They going back to school, probably, we're both parents, so we have a lot to say to this, because of the fact that the school teaches what's in the curriculum. And whatever is written there, whatever is allowed by the school governors and the education authority, is what they teach the kids. It's not their responsibility to teach my kids moral. They're just to educate them. They're just to make them prepare them for the world they are going to in their own way, civilization. They bring that in, they teach them all that, and they teach them sex when you can't even, when you're even afraid, you don't know when to start. The school already start with them. They teach them about, you know, accepting other groups. One of my daughters came on one day and said, you know what, Daddy, they were teaching us Islam in school, how to do this. I said, well, she was asking, should I listen? I said, well, for the exam purpose, listen to them. But know that you know who you serve, you know who you are. And that's how it is. We let things go because, well, for the exam purpose, if they don't learn it, they will fail it, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So we let them just learn those things for the sake of it. I said this, make sure this is, that's what we do as per the school. Government bringing law, the law affects the school as well. They don't want us to speak.
So are you saying the parents should be blamed? Because I read somewhere again, you know, because of this, I had to go into research. Someone said the parents should be blamed, especially the mothers, because the mothers are told they are expected to stay at home and look after the children while the father goes out to work.
Why should it be the mom that should stay at home? I'm not as long as I'm not a feminist, and I'm not sexist in any way, but I still believe that, you know, as a father and mother, we both have rights over our kids. We should both be available. So the idea of the woman should stay at home and take care of kids. Man, they're going to have a boring life. If a woman chooses to do that, I don't think any woman will like it. Not that I'm saying it's not good. If it's perfect, if it fits you, if that's what you chose to do, I'm okay. It's okay by your family, it's okay. But I don't think we should limit that to the mother alone. Because in a way, where the father is always on the field, the kids also need their dad. You see the way they look forward to the man coming back home. And like, dad is coming home today. The fact that they have somebody coming and somebody being around them, you know, it makes them feel so special. And I think if there is a way a family can, you know, alternate it, not just that if you look at your work schedule for the week, both of you or for the month, you schedule it in such a way that you have time for these kids. It will work perfectly well for them, because we need to use, you know, both skills that we've got. Because when we come together as husband and wife, you are bringing a system. This is what you are used to. You're bringing it in. I'm bringing what I have used to in. Then we meet at a point, and then we try to work it to the advantage of the kids. So I'm not supporting the idea that a woman should just stay at home and not work.
Okay. Some people argue that it is the fault of the father. I said, why? They said that the mothers can only do little, which you said, you know, with the children, especially with our boys. So they just said that to buttress your point, and again, to buttress their point, I watched a video, and in that video, a man was like, a grown-up man, he was actually shedding tears, he was really crying, and he was so bitter. They said, you know, he got angry, you know, as the father went out of the house and left them at home, left himself and the mom. So the mother practically raised him up. So he said ever since the father left home that he rebelled against education. He just told the mom, don't worry, I'm going to look after you, and I'm going to show my father that I can be a better person. And since that day, he went on the street. And what was he doing on the street? It was doing drugs. From drugs, you know, using all the weapon out there to do whatever he needs to do to get quick money. So that's what he was doing. So some said it is the father's fault.
Wait, my child, my responsibility. Let me just go to that. Let me just summarize everything I've got to say today with that word. My child, my responsibility. The government will make laws. The schools will teach them whatever is in the curriculum. The church will try their best to kind of say, okay, accept Jesus Christ into your life and everything will be rosy and all that. And they will meet their friends in the community as well, who will as well try to influence them. But my child, my responsibility. So how do I now balance in between all those things? Let me put myself in the shoes of these young people. Because I've tried it. It's really hard, parents. Don't let us deny this fact. Growing up, I have, my dad is really, really old. And I grew up in somewhere in Africa. And I saw the way the man reacted every time we did things wrong. It's not, you don't get away with any mistake. It's like you deliberately do it. Sometimes they just tell you, you've done this thing. You haven't done it, but you are scared to say it's not me. Because they will beat you more. Or let me not use the word beat. You'll get more punishment. But even dare to say it's not me. So you accept the punishment for what you haven't done. And then you get punished for it. Even when they discover later on that it wasn't you, they wouldn't apologize to you. You understand me? That's the kind of life we grew up in. And my dad used to say we had it easy.
Wow.
Because during his own time, it was much more than that. And now I'm saying my kids are having it easy. But I want us parents to know one thing. The kind of life these ones are exposed to, you've never seen it in your life.
Wow.
You don't know what they are going through.
Wow.
You don't know the pressure they are going through. My kids will come back from school and they will tell me, Daddy, they are getting bullied in school. Someone said their shoe is not from Harold. And this thing is not bought from the highest, you know, whatever supermarket or store on the high street. And I'm like, look, I'm happy for what I could afford to give you. But my phone is not S9 Plus. And my kids and my friends are making jest of me. So they get enticement from every angle. You have a kid, you know, a kid in secondary school who comes to school with the latest iPhone, with internet, with everything packaged, given onto him. And you have a kid that, as your own as well, that you've given a phone, maybe an analog phone, just to protect him. They are enticed by this, no matter how you preach, no matter how you pray unto them. You have to keep reinforcing it. You have to know that they see things on the internet that probably you've never even seen in your life. They know how to go through the back door when you put in securities and all that. Because it's their generation. We follow them. They know so much about this world that we live in, more than us.
More than us.
And so they pretend along with you. As if, well, everything is okay, it's daddy's rule. Meanwhile, they have their own thing that they want to practice within them. So I kind of understand at to a certain level that they are under so much pressure. Confusion in the church. They come to the church, the pastor says one thing, they're telling you they don't understand it. Especially some of them that attend African church, where every example is made from Lagos or Ibadan or Kano or Calabar or one city in Zimbabwe or South Africa. It doesn't really gel with what they don't understand it. You understand me? So they are confused in so many ways. That's where the parent has to come in to do a lot of work.
Wow. Thank you very much, MC Robin. Robin, he said, all listed are responsible collectively. They all must do their bit and work together to support and manage the horrible situation. Thank you very much, C. Robin, for that comment. I so much believe that, and I believe when we all do our bit, what we are seeing that is happening now is everybody leaving their responsibility, shifting it to the next person, and the job, we know what happens, it doesn't get done.
Do you blame some people for shifting your responsibility? Hang on, let's be realistic.
Okay.
You tell a child that I don't ever want to see you do this. If you do it again, you know what I will do to you. And the child has been told probably in school that, if your parents say some words, it's threatening, call this, call that. So you empower them, even against the parents. You remember when we parked a car on the street, people, and some people just came along and they took stone, and they broke the windscreen. Not just once, about 3 times. They really wanted to break it into the car, probably, and they ran away. And I saw it. I felt so bad in my spirit. I was angry in my spirit. I rang the police. I reported it. You know what police had told me? They said, well, have you not got insurance? Yeah, if you've got insurance, don't call us for this kind of thing anymore. Tell me, the kids that did that, they know they can get away with it. They go into another people's house, they break windows, they break things, and the police said, don't worry, we're not coming for that kind of thing. They keep graduating up and up and up until they become real armed robbers. And that's the kind of society we live in. I remember when I first came into this country, there was this guy who's been, he was studying for his exams. And these kids from the street always come around and make noise in front of his house. And he has his son. The guy couldn't take it anymore. He has to just step out and say, please, could you move down? That was it. They killed him. They knifed him right on the steps of his own house. So people are kind of afraid. They don't know what to do. You talk to you try to correct them. They wouldn't listen to you. You try to give them punishment. They call the police on you. Social services will come in and take them away from you and ruin their lives.
No, we need to be careful what we say. I don't think social services just go into any family and just take their child from them. I really want to hear your views, viewers and listeners. I want to hear what you think. Or if you're in that field or in that profession, I want to hear the procedure. I believe something must have been happening or must have happened, and that thing must be very, very strong for them to take that child away from that home.
I saw a video went viral some months ago about a child. You know what happened? This child, the police came to his, you remember?
Yeah,
this child, the police came to their house.
Yeah.
They actually practically had to drag the boy. He was crying, I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
A boy probably that has been eating yam, pepper soup, and ogbono soup, and pounded yam, and then ask this thick African community. The African community are family oriented.
Yes, we have.
We are thick together.
Yeah.
You know, people may say we don't like each other, but when it comes sometimes to coming together, we're kind of good at it. This boy was trying, the father was pleading, the mother was pleading, the boy was saying, I don't want to go, but the court has said he has to go. I don't know what happened before then. Probably something was said and they missed on. Most of the time when kids are taken is mostly because cultural clash. You see that people say things. I've heard one says, come back from school today, I will kill you. You understand me? But where we are coming from, we know it's wrong. But people have to understand the context of this thing. You know, you don't just say because someone says, I will. The word is strong, really. I'm not supporting it.
But
I don't say it to my kids. But sometimes we need to, you know, be looking at some things, not just by...
Not from the surface.
Yeah, not from... Go deeper into it. And so I believe that most of the time when they take kids from people, they take it wrongly.
Okay, I want to hear your views if you believe his opinion. I think, because I work closely sometimes with a social worker, and I know before they take a child from you, because it costs them loads of money. And I believe parents out there, we need to know all this as well. Social services do not want to take your child from you, but we need to learn how to parent. We need to learn how to parent. You said something earlier on. You said a parent saying to a child, come back from school and I will kill you. Children born and raised in this environment would literally take that word from you and they will be frightening. That's the truth of the matter. They will be frightening and they will get to school and explain to their parents, this is what my mother or my father said is going to do to me. And they will get a social service involved. And before they take that child away from you, I believe that the first of all say, do you have a family that we can leave them with or something before they take it further? But if it's any other way, please, we want to hear from you. Thank you very much. Otelia joining us this afternoon. She said, love this. Thank you. Omalara Elizabeth saying, social worker or services work in fear and are overstretched in their duties. They are given rules to follow and are unable really use their discretion in some cases. Thank you very much, ma'am.
So they have like a tick. He said this.
It's tick.
And she said this tick. Tick. Okay. And conclusion. Maybe 4 ticks out of
10.
Out of 10 or 5. They've said if you tick like 6 or 4 out of 10, the child is taken. And that's how it goes. I'm not condemning what they do. I know everyone is on the edge, even the police.
Yeah.
They're kind of.
But before we go to the social services, I really want us to really talk on the family because the Bible says, train up your child in the way it should go. Is that referring to when the child is 14, 13, 10 years, or from birth? Viewers and listeners, I want to hear from you, because this is where we have that challenges. Because sometimes we leave it too late before we start teaching them, before we start instilling discipline or fear of God or our values, our beliefs into these children. We leave it too late, and sometimes we leave it in the hands of the school or the government, and that's where the problem is from. Does the Bible say we should train them when they are much more older, or when?
I said it earlier. I said, my child, my responsibility.
My responsibility.
I said all that. That does not mean I'm blaming the government or the police or social services for anything. Whatever happens to my kids, I take the blame totally. I cannot exonerate myself from it. So from the day a child is born,
that's it.
It becomes my responsibility. Because as a Christian, I'm proud to say I am a lover of God, and Jesus Christ is my Savior and my Lord. I believe so much in one thing, that God has given me the key for a purpose. They are not just, they haven't just come into the family, but God has given them for a purpose. So from day one, that they were conceived, that I got the news from the mom that, oh, I'm pregnant. I begin to pray for them. I begin to tell God, God, this is the kind of, children I want from you. This is the kind of thing I want to happen to this kid. I want him or her to be your giant battle axe. I want somebody to be able to stand up, even to the wiles and to all the deceit of this world, to be able to escape it in a way. Having said all this, I'm going to take us to the Bible. Because of our time, we won't be reading so much. But something is very, very when it comes to discipline a child, there's a passage in the Bible that's a very popular prophet in the Bible. Elisha. Yeah. Eli and his children. The Bible talks of the fact that Eli's children, they care so much about the fat, and the meat, and they were taking things wrongly from people. They were taking things wrongly from people. The same house where the Eli children were, but the same house who was Samuel was in the same house. And people said, Inu ikoko dudu le funfun tin jade in Yoruba land. That's it. That is from this a black pot that a white pap comes out from. The pot is black when you look at it, but when you look inside it, the pap is pure white. Really. So in the same house was Samuel and the Eli children. And what did they turn bad because of what? I think their father was even blamed for it, because it was like he was old, he didn't really know what was going on. And when God was looking for somebody, in that household to take over the mantle of Eli, he did not see the children that automatically should take on the mantle, because sin has blocked God from seeing them. He could only see Samuel, and he called Samuel. And Samuel became the priest of God.
Thank you.
After Eli.
I just want to read what Elizabeth Omolara says. The parents who truly abuse the children are rarely caught until it's too late, but the ones who believe in disciplining their children are usually the culprits. Thank you very much. She went further to say, have we thought about God's word that also says you reap what you sow? Many parents have committed so many atrocities that are now affecting not only them but their children too. We all look good in displaying perfection, but God sees and knows every hidden secret. Thank you very much, Ma, for that comment.
Let me just put this in. Some people, this is very common. They are not single parents. But they claim to be single parents just because they want more money from the government. Some people, people do all sorts of, tell all sorts of lies to get something, and the kids know about it. You understand me? When you want to live a shady life, some people, when they work day and night, truly, but what do they do with the money? They want to buy Ashwebi. I'm sorry if you like it. I'm not against it. If it's your thing, but somebody like me, I'm sorry, it's not my thing. You understand me? But if all your life you are working to buy Ashwebi and show off outside and buy the latest thing, whether on debit or credit, it's your thing. But make sure you have time for these kids. It's not, see, I've seen parents that thought, someone was saying, when I was growing up, I saw my friends with Mario, whatever game they call it that time. And my parents couldn't afford it. And my parents couldn't afford TV. So I've made up my mind, whatever it is that money can buy, I can afford, I'm buying for my children. What kind of life are you introducing to a child, a very young child, that you don't know what to buy for that kid, for Christmas gift or for any other gift than a toy gun? What are you trying? What message are you passing? When you go ahead and buy a PSP or Pop Station and you buy war games, simulation, they kind of simulate how to kill people. They aim and target and maneuver and all that. And you are buying them for little children. And you now start to complain that this children is wayward, or you buy. I told my son, you are not allowed to watch Horrid Harry in my house. I'm sorry I'm mentioning names. Some of these things are so bad, the languages are so bad, that we need to even sit down with them sometimes and watch what they like to watch and the reason why they love to do it. If he watches something and I see in his behavior that he's beginning to jump up and down, and I will say, oh, what's going on? What happened? And he will explain. I say, no, you shouldn't be watching that. You should not be having a look at it. So I want us to be careful of how we treat them, even when we want to treat them. Treat them nicely. Take them on holiday. Make them feel like kings and queens and princes and princesses. But please and please, don't take with levity some things and say, it doesn't matter, or he's old school. Some people will probably be saying, I'm old school. Oh, I pity these people's children. But it doesn't work that way. Nobody will blame me for not buying gun simulation, whatever it is called. For my kids, I don't believe in it. And I don't believe a parent should be buying those things for their kids.
Thank you very much, Ella, for joining us this afternoon. She said, so horrid.
It's true. It's so.
It is. Thank you very much. You mentioned some things, and I won't want us to just brush it under the carpet. What are kind of the things? What are the things that your children? Because I want us to really establish this Bible passages we've just read. Train up a child in the way it should go when he's young, so that when he grows, he won't depart from it. Don't leave it too late. Start from very young. What are the things that your children are watching? What are the kind of friends that they are keeping? And what are the kind of books they are reading? Because all these things, they pass information to your children. And you, as a parent, do you have quality time for your children from that very young age? Don't think they're 2 years old. You can just drop them at everywhere because they're still kids. They see all these things. And again, when you have argument, that is if two of you are raising a child. When you have argument between the two of you, don't let the children know. Don't say they're too young. You can argue in front of them.
I disagree with that. You know
because
why?
All these things.
You know why I said why I depend on this argument. You see, when we pretend sometimes to be superhuman, we are not teaching them. There is nothing wrong in husband and wife arguing. But make sure that at that moment, you're not violent with it. Mind your language, and at the same time, settle it. Let them know that daddy and mommy, they are human. Because when we try to pretend as if everything is rosy,
but they will know you settle. They will know you settle when they see the two of you talking again.
Of course, they will.
But when the argument, okay, you have to know yourself as couple. We can't talk. We can't generalize. We can't talk for everybody. Some couples, when they are arguing, it gets tense. It gets high. So when you are that kind of a person, please
don't do it.
Do not do it in the presence of your children, because they see all these things. All these things builds up anger inside of them. They go to school, they call them blacks, they call them names, they call them horrible things that we don't want to be mentioning on social media. And they get home. What did they see at home again? They saw anger. They're seeing anger parents. It's going to build up bitterness in them. And this is the things that builds up all these children as a parent. So please, and if as a single parent you're raising a child, I know God is going to help you, is going to empower you, but you still need somebody that you know that they can listen to, because only one person cannot do it. Only you cannot do it. You need an intervention from people that you trust, that you know there will be a good role models. You know, Pauline Lehman mentioned role models before. Who are your children's role models? And you are supposed to be the number one role model that you have. You as a parent, what are the characteristics they are seeing and they are emulating as a parent? You need to ask yourself that. Lyle says you can have constructive arguments. Don't get them involved, and mind your language, and no violence. Yes. Teach them the right way to disagree. Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Lyle Remi Olowu. Now, when we finish talking about the parents, now we can go to the school, the government. Some people believe that the black minority children have been stigmatized. When they see them, they call them names, and these things, you know, it stays in them.
I want to ask a question. Does the black BME children not call other people's names? No, I want to add. Today, no, I'm not supporting that idea. I have been called names also. You know, I was jejely walking my. If you are not from my, jejely means I was just going on my.
But they believe.
People just look out of the car and they did who and they call me monkey and all sorts of names. You know what I did? I just laughed. I just.
You have got a thick skin.
You understand
but
me?
These children, we are just building them up.
They go through it every day.
They go through it every day.
They go through it every day.
It might be too much for them. And when a crime is committed, they just assume that it is from the black minority ethnic.
You know, this is where the authority comes in as well. I think they need to be firmer on this, because a child reports that he's been, you know, racially abused and all that. The other person is his child too. So what do you expect? They wouldn't do anything. They would just warn and probably in school isolation, but they still continue to do it because they know it's not going to be more than us. Probably that one doesn't even care about. He's not bothered. Going to isolation every day is something he's used to. But what I tell my children is this: it doesn't matter what people call you. See, when we sing Sinash, I know who God says I am. What is it? You know, all that. We're not just saying it. I don't want every one of us, as we Christians, to just be singing it from our mouth. It should come from the heart. In everything, it should come from deep inside our belly. These children, you know what you have. You are not what people call you. You are what God calls you, and you have to walk your ways by yourself. You have to put in the hard work to show to some people that no, it's not what they think I am, that I am better off than them. And so I know they have to work double. I know they have to put in more effort. But in it, discrimination is subtle. It's not on the surface. It's something that is deep down. Sometimes you are not even discriminated against, but because it's common, you think you are being discriminated against. And so we have to talk to our kids to develop that within them, that look, it is not what they call me that I am. And this is where it is important. Our faith, especially we that are Christian, does matter a lot.
It does.
It does matter because there is no I'm in and out. I'm in today, I'm out tomorrow. You're telling your kids something is not good, and in church, pastor is saying it's not good to go out and get drunk and come home late. And you are there, you sit down, you listen to everything, you took it in, and then you got home. Just maybe same day, you went out, you got drunk, you came back home late. And still you are saying these kids don't follow you to church. And you are saying they don't listen to you is because they see some patterns. They see some patterns. I'm not saying everyone does that.
Yeah.
There are some exceptional parents that even though they put in their best, the devil wants to corner the kids. There are so many of them out there. But I'm saying, as much as it depends on me, as much as it depends on you, as much as it depends on us black people, Africans, let us do our best.
That's it.
And when you are not able to do when your best is not coming out as the best, when you think I'm doing my best and it's not working, don't cover it up. Let another parent talk to them. Find mentors for them. Let people pray with you. Don't say, I don't know what they are going through, so why should I tell them what I'm going through? Because if it becomes bigger, those people you are hiding from, they will make jest of you. Even when they raise prayer point, you will think they are talking about you. So it's good to say, I need help. And then look out, look out for single parents that are struggling. They may not be struggling, they may be okay anyway. Just look for single parents and help mentor their kids, especially single women, I wanted to say.
Thank you very much to Remi Layo Olowos. You said the village, that is parents, aunties, uncles, youth leaders, role models will help raise your children. And, just to buttress what you're saying. But in these days, do you know what we do now? I thank God that you mentioned that when we're suffering, our children, we can see some traits of some behavior or some characters in them. We should quickly inform an auntie or an uncle or a teacher or somebody that we know that can talk to them. But what we do now is that we've seen parents building walls around their children. I don't want anybody to scorn my children. I don't want anybody to talk to my child. I don't want anybody to know my business. People now keep their business to themselves. So it is more difficult to get help, even when help is out there. Thank you very much for that. Elizabeth said again, parents should have a teachable heart too. Don't be too proud to learn from someone that has been successful in parenting. Surround yourself with godly people, listen to your children and apologize to them when necessary. Thank you very much for that. I thought that was spot on, that I needed to read that out. Exactly, just to buttress what I was saying before. Sometimes we parents, we're too proud. We think we know it all.
My method is the best.
My method is the best. We don't want to get anybody in. But sometimes we don't know it all. We need somebody to help us.
It's every time. Nobody knows it. You don't know it all. I don't know it all. This is what we are saying today. It may not work for some other people. It may work for some. But the main part of it is, I will go back to it. You're responsible for your child. Don't push it to government. Don't push it to government. Don't blame the school. Don't blame the authority. Don't say it wouldn't have turned this way if so thing has not happened. Let us go back and make sure and find out if Eli was punished for his own children in the Bible. If Timothy's mom was praised. If Jesus could be raised in that environment and it turned out good. If Timothy could be raised in his own environment, his own time, and became somebody of reference of today, we can do it.
I understand what you're saying, but I really want to read some things out to your ears so that you can know what these children are facing. Probably they are different from that Eli's children in the Bible.
There's this different
They are facing racial discrimination, other forms of societal rejection. When they go to school, they tell them they're not brilliant enough. The black children are not brilliant enough. They are told they're not good enough. And all these things affect their self-esteem.
I'll still go back to what I said before, my dear.
Wow.
You see, the thing is this. They are not the only person. They are not the only group people pass comments about. Some people, they say, well, you are too big. Some people say, your head is like this. Your nose is this. You're not, so I want them to just look away from that. The fact that people say this or say that, prove it. Prove that they are wrong. Instead of, it's regurgitating on what they said and then fall into that pit. Prove them wrong.
But this is why they stay children. And that's why we need you aunties, uncles, leaders, mentors, role models out there, pastors. We need you all out there to help with these children's self-esteem. Because sometimes I read somewhere that a teacher was saying to a pupil that black children are not very clever. They're not usually
that's our own idea. You see, you ask that person how many black people has he ever met? She ever met? Has she heard about the Imafidon children in London? Has she heard about my own kid, my own antecedent? People don't know, but they are only limited. Or are you surprised that people still think today that some people are still sleeping in tree houses? Some people still think some of us have tails. People will have ideas because it's what they see in the media in the Western world. I do ask myself, of all the beautiful places in Nigeria, why is it always the bad places that they show? And you know what comes into my mind?
What?
Why don't you get to the level they are and portray the good things about what you do?
Exactly.
And that's why I've got Beam TV. We're working so hard to make sure that we portray everything good, no negativity.
Thank you. Elizabeth Amalara says again, many of us Africans can be very judgmental, and why people hide under all is okay when it's not. Let us be genuine in our desire to help others. Allow people to be vulnerable and show genuine empathy. I love the word vulnerable. You know, I was discussing with a man, a matured man once, and I was saying to him, it's good for couples to be vulnerable to each other. And he went and said, vulnerable, that is a very huge word. Why should I be vulnerable to my wife? And I'm like, oh my God. Yes, what else should you be vulnerable to if not your wife? And you can tell from that discussion that it's very difficult for him to be vulnerable to people. So please, let us be vulnerable to ourselves, and let us be genuine. When people know that you want to help them out of your genuinity, they will open up to you and they will let you into their life.
Okay, thanks you very much. Before we go, there's something really important. I watched a video about this guy who was talking about how they get people to get into drugs, and you know, can you remember the video?
Yeah, I watched the video.
Yeah, and so a lot of parents learned a lot from that. But what I want to just say is this: that the fact that you are struggling as a parent to get the basic, we have basic in this country.
Yeah. To
go extra, you know, in getting some things for your kids. I don't want you to feel that you're a failure. The kids themselves may want to push those things, push you, and say, oh, want you to get to the point where you'll be like, I give up. I'm a failure. Let them go and get money anyhow they can get it. And that's why people get into that. It's not only happening. See, I believe these days that each continent, each country, each community, they have their own peculiar problems.
Yeah.
As we are talking here about of parents that close their eyes to their kids, their children bringing in money, buying cars, and where they know that they have no particular job. But because they feel that, well, I've not been able to provide it anyway, anyhow they can get it, they can go and get it. It's not just happening on the street, in the streets of London alone. It's not just through drug selling or drug dealings, that's what they call it, or any other thing that these kids are getting in. Even in Africa, in a country, particularly where I come from, most of them have gone into what? 419, we call it fraud. Defrauding people to get money. So the problem of kids trying to get through the microwave and quick money, you understand me? Because they've studied the parents. Let's be realistic. You leave home probably 7 o'clock. In the morning. You come back 9 p.m. And at the end of the month, you collect salary, it's not enough. They know you are struggling. And they're like, Daddy, you're a graduate. You have masters. You are the boss in this place. You are earning stuff, but they may not be able to tell you fully. They know you're struggling. And so they are thinking, okay, if this thing did not favor my parents, how can I make it quick? That's what they have at the back of their minds.
Yeah.
How can they make it quick? They want to make it quick, so they get enticed into the world. I tell you, the culture of this world, you cannot do anything to change it. It's going to get bad. It's going to get worse. It's going down and down and down. Wow. And that's why it looks like government everywhere is failing. Everything is coming to that point.
But do you not think it's because of the courts? Because, you know, during the course of the courts, that the government are caught in a lot of things. That's why a lot of this crime are happening now.
Okay, let's look. What governments are caught in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Even before they did that, have they not been doing all these things that we're talking about?
But I think it doesn't seem quiet.
We are in a generation that it doesn't matter what you put on the table. They want something higher. Even they will go. Even if the government will manage to build recreation center, game center, whatever they want on every street, they will still. Don't you know that that's where they go to victimize ladies? They victimize themselves. They form gang and say, you don't come to my postcode. You don't come and do this here. You can't have a friend on the other street because it's, you know, you don't belong there and all that. I'm not saying government should not fund so many things. I know government is trying. They will keep on trying. You understand me? But I'm saying no matter what you put on the table, these people want more. Have you ever tried the kids? Give them one. They want two. Yeah. And they make you feel as if you haven't done anything, even with the two that you have given again. So you want to step higher. And that's how it is. It's not actually their fault. It's because the world we are in today is on a fast pace. And you have to be fast. And the only thing that can catch up with anyone that can make things better is when you know God. It makes a lot of difference. It makes a lot of difference. To some people, it may look like you are talking rubbish. But hold on to what you know. Because the Bible has not told us that it will get better. I'm sorry I'm saying it.
Hold on, please. Let's go to what Elizabeth wrote here. I thought that was really spot on as well. She said, teach your children confidence in the home. Teach them to carry themselves head up, shoulders high, and talk without fear. Thank you very much, Ma. I do really appreciate that. She said, more of this parenting talk, please. It's much more needed. Thank you. I love your video background outlook. Very beautiful. Thank you very much, Ma. Right, before we go, you know, we're talking about the court. Do you not think that if the government are not doing all this court, probably the government they will have more society, more centers that these children will go, because the Bible says that the idle man, the devil looks for work for. So I believe it's because these children are idle, so and that's why they
become two for the enemy, for the devil.
For the devil. Do you not think so? And again, you were talking about God, you're talking about them to have, but these children, most of these children that are doing this crime are in the church. This is what it does hurt me.
And that's the one we need to. That's one we.
They are from the church.
Really
they know God, but most of them they come to church.
They know church.
Yes, they come to church, and what do you see them do in the church? On their tablet, on their phone, playing games.
That's you've raised exactly what I wanted to say. You see, I want to appeal to us parents as well. I didn't have this privilege when I was growing up, and I'm not against the people that have the privilege now. And when there was a time I took my kids to the museum and they were looking at things from the olden age, and I was saying, oh, this was a TV we had in 1978, and the kids were, wow, your dad must really be poor. And I said, no. That was what was available during his own time. And we thank God today that these things are now available for us. Instead of carrying big gadgets, you can now have everything that you want on your phone. And so the children didn't really know much. That's the only thing they know. And so when we come into church during our own time, you know what they do? They put like an adult on each pew like that, and he has a cane in his hand.
They dare not try that now.
So Once you're talking, he won't even ask you whether you wanted to ask a question or not. Before you even say hello, and it's come on your head.
That's an abuse.
It could be from the one at the back. I'm not saying it is right.
That's an abuse.
We live in a time of an age that every day they have so much privilege. They can sit down and listen to the word of God, even if it's only for 30 minutes. I don't support the idea of a child coming into church with some gadgets to play with. Because if they come to if they want to be unconscious to the word of God when they are in church, how are they going to learn something? Because when you give them gadget, you allow them in church. You understand me? Because you don't want other parents to say your child is troublesome, he's making noise, he's disturbing them. We're coming to all the people that stigmatize and just talk to people anyhow because their children are making it. That's something else, you know. But we have to take a stand. I know that if you are coming to church, let them carry their Bible. In fact, I'm trying to. I myself have been guilty of it, and I started thinking about it. What's wrong if I put my phone away during church instead of using my phone as my Bible? Because you get distracted. If I, as an adult, can get distracted, what's going to happen to a teenager? Child. You understand me? Or a child of 7-year-old. So it's something that we should do away with. Let them come and listen. And if they tell you, when you get home, ask them what happened to you again. And this is where our leaders, church leaders, needs to be paying, attention. They need to be interacting with these young people. Why are we not communicating in the same language? Because if someone grew up in church and ended up on the street killing people, something is wrong.
Something is definitely
It's not only wrong with that boy or girl. It's not only wrong with the parents. It's something wrong with the community, the people he moved with, the church that we call the Church of God. We cannot always get it right, but on this gun crime and the killing on the street, we can get it right. We can reduce the number if we come together as uncles and aunts, if we develop that community that we have where we come from, especially we Africans, where we take responsibility for the next child, not just my child. I'm sorry, I'm talking on top because I'm so passionate about this. I do tell people, don't come and report my child to me. Tell him or her straight what he has done wrong. Let him cry to me. I'm not saying beat him or do anything. Tell him he has done anything wrong before you come to me. Because when you come to me to tell him or her, I don't see anything.
I understand what you're saying, and I totally appreciate it, and I'm in support of it as well. But some parents have reported other parents in the manners and the way they've spoken to the children.
They should go and drink more water. Those kind of parents that wouldn't allow people to talk. I'm not saying talk down. Some people don't know how to talk really. But we are in a society where there's a mixture. Your child needs it at times. Needs somebody to just dress him or her down. The way what you're doing is wrong. Can you do that and all that? They need it. It's not just the way you talk every time that you. I just
want to give you a scenario. I want to give you a scenario. There was a lady.
You should drink more Coke.
A girl, very young that time. She painted her nails to church, and an auntie spotted that and rebuked her that you're very young. Why should you be coloring, your nails to church? And the child cried to the mother, and the mother was upset. She was like, why should you be reporting my child? You should have come to me and report my child to me, not talking to that child. But so some parents, they pick offense.
Maybe that's different. That's coming from a different. I'm talking about character now. I'm not talking about what somebody, wears. If a child is rude, if I can see the rudeness, you display, you maybe took another child down and I will talk to him or him or her. I will tell him or her what you've done is wrong.
It's wrong.
But if I probably see a child with painted lips and Coke and Fanta everywhere, I'm not going to say anything to that child.
So when you see a boy, a young teenage, a teenage boy that's sagging, is that what they call it? They're sagging the jeans, and it's so obvious. Will you rather, you're talking about an aunties helping to raise the child, uncles helping with the child, will you rather approach that child and talk to that child nicely and let him know the origin of is it dragging, or what do they call it now?
I don't even know what
sagging. The origin of sagging. Why is it sagging? Will you ask the child or go and report the child to the parents?
Well,
viewers and listeners,
it depends on the age of this child.
Okay.
And sometimes, you know, we cannot generalize things. It depends on the parents as well. You understand me? If I see a child, initially, the first thing I would feel like doing, you know, is to come here, and pull it off. I've done it several times. You know, even to adults as well. I say, no, I don't want to see your panties. Pull it off, please. Jokingly like that, and they will, and it's done. You know, some people, they probably didn't know, but some are obvious. They're doing it. I've seen adults of almost 40 years sagging, and these kind of people will come and be reporting to you that their kids are not listening, their kids are running. Instead of going to school, they've gone somewhere else. People should check themselves. You understand me? So I'm saying that you cannot generalize. It depends on the kid, depends on the parents as well. And another thing I would love to say is this. You see, these days people are wary. We know we talk about being a community and correcting in love and all that. People are scared of talking because the person you want to talk to, you don't know. He might come to your house later on or point to your house, or oh, deal is the one that says sagging, or is the one that says, go and deal with that guy for me. So it's like we are all afraid of what to do. That's why I said the society is just, everything is going up, and then there's nothing to hold it. Nothing to hold it.
I also heard that there is a gang in church. I don't want to believe
you mean
that.
In churches?
In churches. I don't want to believe that, but someone said to me, there is a gang going on in churches now. I want to hear your views. Do you think, I don't know, maybe it's group, I don't know, maybe, but everything now they turn into gang.
But it depends on the purpose, you know. It depends on what's this gang, you know, what do they tend to achieve? You understand me?
Yeah.
What's the meaning? What's the reason for calling it a gang?
A gang.
You understand? So I'm not going to say until I have all the information. I wouldn't want to condemn people or say, oh, it's true there is a gang. But until they've come to me and probably want to entice my kids and I get to know it. So
we've talked about the problem now. Now let's talk about the solution. What do you think the solution should be? I want to read what Layo Remiolowu said. She said the church, youth leaders, parents, schools, we all need to come together to find strategic ways to help our youth. The issues they face is numerous and the church doesn't help. Take, for example, a young boy whose father is absent. How many men walk up to that boy to offer support? Thank you very much, Remiolowu. We're just talking about the solution now, and you've just nailed one there.
Mentoring, that's it.
Yeah, I believe Pauline Lehman mentioned mentoring from the beginning. We need, you know, as a youth leader, a cousin, aunties, whatever your roles are in the life of these children, please, we need your support. We all need to come together to help redeem this image that is out there about the BME. Please
stop the killing one way or the other. It's not just by praying. Prayer is one of the solution, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we can't just gather together in churches and ring bell and cry to God and say, God, stop this. It has to stop from the home. Parents have to start living by example. There are some things my kids are afraid to do. We were discussing the other day. I was saying there where we have children the age of my last born that are already smoking. The age of 7, 8.
From the age of 4,
they're already chain smokers.
Yeah.
But they can't come to you and say, you know, you can't find it in them. It's not something that they are entitled to. Some of them at the age of 10 have already become alcoholic. At the age of 10 are already disvirgin and they are already sleeping around with boys or sleeping around with girls. But it's going to be hard if they've not found such traits in the house or they are not being enticed by someone from outside. My children were to go out to a friend's birthday party. They wanted to go to town and just, go to have a meal. And I said, well, I'll let you go. I'm not going to stop you from having fun. But the thing is, the parents of that girl have to call me and speak to me. I'm not handing you over to another teenager. So I'm handing you over
to
an adult. So he takes the responsibility. And so the man had to call me. And when his daughter was going out, he took all of them together. This is the kind of thing that we should enforce. It's not that they shouldn't go out. Don't say, sit down there. You can't go. When I was your age mate, my father doesn't allow me to go out. Hey, what he told me that if they touch my hand like this, I will get pregnant. Those are whole stories. These children know that if they touch their hands, they are not going to get pregnant. They know that it's only when they have sex, unprotected sex. And they've been teaching them in school, giving them condom in school, telling them to go ahead and have sex. And you are at home. You are not monitoring their movements. Because when you tell them to go and have unprotected sex, to go and have protected sex, they will have unprotected one. Because they just want to go a bit higher.
They go a bit higher, one step higher.
You understand me? And you wouldn't know. And a lot of things will happen. You will get more hungry. So take your responsibility as a parent and make sure that you communicate on that level to them. Be friends. Oh my God, you need to see me. If I want to joke with tell you what, we can sit down and start doing something. I don't want to mention it here because my wife is already smiling. We just do it and the whole house is, and then we have our fun. You understand me? We go in the kitchen and cook together. I can call, hey, come here, come and sit beside me. You are my lovely girlfriend and all that. I like to make my children comfortable around me because I want the best out of them.
Thank you very much. I believe you've said it all. Layo said, be responsible for your children and the friends they bring home. That is spot on. Thank you very much, Layo, for that. You've mentioned a lot of things. I just want to mention a few things just to add to what he has said. Be the friend. We can't overemphasize that. Pray for them. Pray with them. And let them know God at a very young age, because it's going to help them. Even when you think they're at that age that you think they don't know God, they'll still come back to Him. You just introduce God to them at a very young age. Let them know God and instill confidence in them. After you have instilled your values, your beliefs, morals into them, then instill confidence so that by the time they're hearing the word black, the word they're not intelligent, it wouldn't make sense to them because they know who they are. And when you let them know who they are, they will have a lot of confidence and they will be able to say, yes, I am black and I am proud of it. I might not be as intelligent as you think you are, but I've got some other talent that your money cannot buy or your intelligence cannot buy. Build the confidence up. Let them be proud of who they are. And please, if you're raising your child alone, I'm sold out to single parents. So please don't do it alone. There are some uncles there that they're not after your mother, that they just want to help you to grow up in life. Welcome them in your life. And please, all this crime that we're seeing on the street, they start with anger, bitterness, unforgiveness. When you start noticing the trait of anger in the life of your child, start on your knees. Then speak to that child. Try to find out what is it that they are upset about.
Speak to that spirit as well.
And speak to the spirit. I watched a video and the boy was saying ever since the father stepped out of the house, the anger arose in him. It's not their fault that their father left. They shouldn't blame themselves and they shouldn't try to start to make money earlier just because they want to try to prove a point. They can make money in the right way. Tell them money is good. You want them to be rich. You want them to be comfortable. But they need to make it in the right way. So you need to let them know that it's good to start small. This microwave wealth will not take them anything, but will bring them bitterness at the end of it. It's not going to take them far in life. Let them understand all these things and be still and know that God is in their life. It will bring them back even if they've gone astray. Do not be worried. Again, what can the government do? We've talked about the parents now. Now the government.
I can't speak for the government. I can't say this is what they can do.
Okay, what do we want the government to do?
What we want them to do. What I was thinking in my head, look, we live in a police country, the United Kingdom. You know, we have cameras everywhere. We want to thank God for the grace that God has given us in this country, the United Kingdom. You know, terrorists, they plan to bomb people or bomb some places, and please get to know before that time. They follow them, they get them down, and they stop that. You know, barbaric action. Why is it difficult to stop crime on the streets of London? Why is it difficult for the same police to stop people from killing young people, black minority, ethnic groups from killing themselves on the street? I don't get it. So this is what I want government to. They've set up committees. They are working hard. They say on, you know, finding a solution. They've released, say, $40 million US dollar, or I mean, I say US dollar, pounds or something like that, to fight, you know, to make sure that there's more and there's adequate security on the street. But I think more needs to be done. They need to go deep and ask questions, and, you know, change some things about the perspective. Try to change some things about the way, you know, and say the truth as it is sometimes. Not just want to make people media happy. But there's a way the media, you know, change stories, and you can be a villain and you look like a hero. So the government should do more on the street than just mere paper. They should not just formulate laws. They should do more on this. We want to see them
I think they should upgrade the status of the children from the BM High community.
How would they do that?
This is my belief. I want to hear your views as well. Viewers and listeners watching us this afternoon, I want to hear. I believe they should upgrade our status. You know, they believe once there is a crime somewhere or on the street, without them getting there, they believe the BME are the one doing it.
Man, I don't want to speak that they believe.
So I want them to change that orientation, that mindset, that status that they've given the BME community. They should change it.
You mean the stigma?
The stigma.
Well.
Right, and Tony said the parents must cultivate the habit of praying together and studying the Bible together so that they will know the value of life as they grow. Thank you very much for that,
we have
Anthony.
To finish very shortly.
I believe that is spot on. So the school as well, what do you think the school can do?
The schools, everybody's hands, you know, they are kind of tied.
Exactly.
Because there are laws in place that stop them from, you know, if a teacher sees a bruise or bruises on a child's face, he has to ask questions. And then maybe he says, well, my mommy pushed me yesterday. Before you say by accident, they're already writing it down. I'm calling social services. There are laws in place. So sometimes when the school does things, we blame them. But it's actually not, they are actually not to blame. Because a lot of things are at stake. The teacher's reputation, certificate, and job is at stake. The school's certificate can be withdrawn. So that's why I said they still need to sit down. You've given so much power to these children. You've given them so much. They can't handle it. Wow. They don't know how to use it.
Is it true that they've given so much power to the children?
It's so much. They don't know how to use it. So parents have to go and learn.
You know, you might be right. I was watching a video about that this child I'm about to talk about shouldn't be more than 10 years, give or take. And this child in that video was holding a phone and was playing game and was crying at the same time. I believe the mother was asking him to do something or to, I don't know what was going on, but he was swearing at the parents, at the mother, and was swearing, crying. Don't tell me what to do, was all the F word. And I was like, for God's sake, where on earth?
But where did the child learn the F word from?
I don't want to say from the parents, because sometimes...
No, if a child is bold enough to say it in the presence of his parent, he probably have been hearing the parents say it.
Wow.
No, we can't say, I can't say because, okay, I go to church, I take my children to church so they don't swear. I've actually caught some of them. You understand? Probably when they are with their peers, or when they are talking to themselves at home, you probably hear it. But they can't be bold enough to say it openly when I'm sat there, and especially to me. It can't happen. Something must have gone wrong. Wow. Is it that they've had the parents say it, or they see the parents watching movie all the time with them? Something must have triggered it, given the confidence for it to happen. That's me. And if I were to be that parent, I'll take the phone off him.
Wow. I don't think anybody could near this child from that video, because he was on the phone crying and saying, don't tell me what to do. Who are you to tell me what to do? Just F off, this off. And I'm like, God.
Please, viewers and listener, I may be wrong by saying, well, it's because he's got the confidence because of what the parents have been saying. If I'm wrong, if you think I'm wrong, if you have a contrary opinion, please just test us put a comment below and the Facebook page.
And we want to know if they are being empowered, because somebody said the children are now the parents and the parents are now the children. Is that the case?
They've given them power they can't manage. All right, we want to say a very big thank you to everybody for listening to us on this segment of Home Affairs. We promise you that this will be coming to you from time to time from the two of us. By the special grace of God, we've been really, really blessed for having a lot of people. Can you just
thank you very much.
Some of the names.
Thank you very much. Oh, Kemi Ali she's just dropped a message now. I believe it's quite long. Remy Olowu as well just dropped one as well.
Can quickly read it.
Remy says that, listen, for the government to see any changes, we must sit with them to ensure they understand how we are as a people.
Thank you. That's very important.
That our black boys need to see more black men who look like them in their schools, black men who can stand for them in school and who can praise them and encourage them and plant a seed in their heads, a seed they can run with. Thank you very much. That's so spot on. Kemi Ali says that I don't see the way this institution can work together because our values are different, except we find a common ground. We need to be able to find that common ground, Kemi. Seriously, she went further to say parenting is a job on its own. Some parents have misplaced priorities. You can't leave a child to grow up on their own. Some parents lock up the children in the end and go to work. Sad. Before you know all sort of things are happening. Thank you very much. She said again, church needs to recognize the youth, the children, and listen to them so that we can help them the best way. Thank you very much. Olayinka Olayinka Anibi says, nice program. Please keep it up. Thank you very much, Olayinka. Thank you, everybody that have joined us this afternoon. I do really appreciate your time and your comments, your contribution. I do really love you all. From the two of us, we love you and we really appreciate you. I believe I want to go back to what Layo Remi Olowu said earlier on. She said, it is everybody's responsibility to take care of these children. I know two people give birth to them, but it takes the village, the police, the government, the church, the aunties, the uncles, the parents need to come together and raise these children. And then, maybe by then, we will stop this crime on our street. Yes. Thank you very much. We do appreciate it. Until next week.
It's not until next week. Finally. I want to say that people do complain about racial discrimination. It's not going to stop. Human beings, we always look for something to attach to something. This happens because of this and this. And I'm not saying it's not real. I listened to someone sometimes about, was it 2-3 weeks ago, 2 weeks to be precise, speaking on Sky Sports about the number of professors that belongs to the BME in the United Kingdom, and that discrimination is rife, is real. People struggle because they are of this color and all that. Can we even, we can never ever imagine the effect that it's having on us, but in the midst of everything I'm saying that we can be victorious.
We can.
Because we know who we are. We are special breed. We are special in such a way that the world cannot do without us. And that's why you see all sorts of things being done just to suppress it. But it's not going to happen because we are special in a way. I said, don't buy violent games or toys for your children. Please, when you want to buy anything for them, don't buy anything violent for them. Simulation, how to aim and kill, maneuver and all that, and gun, bombs throwing and all that. Please, let's avoid it for kids. And don't allow the world to force our way on you. If we allow them to be unconscious in his presence, you know what? I said, don't allow the world to force our way on you. Don't allow them to dictate to you, this is the way things should be done, when you know the right way to do. There are ways we can apply godly wisdom and these things. There is a way God empowered Barack Obama to become the president of America. Subtly, the Lord used him. There is a way God used Daniel in the foreign land in the olden days. He was even among the council, the highest council. Yet he did what? He did not dine with the enemy at any point. He kept himself. As we are in a foreign land, those of us that have come from Africa, let us, and all parts of the world, let us be wise. Let us treat our kids like kings and queens that we were not treated like in those days. But in the midst of it, praying for them. Teach them the word of God, and you will be victorious in everything you do. The enemy will come, they will attack, the children may go astray, but one thing I want to assure you that God will bring them back home. And if you are a parent there this day, and you are lamenting, and you are saying, oh, they don't know, I've tried all these things they are talking about, and it has not worked for me. My child is on the street. He's going wayward. He's this and he's that. He's no more listening to me. Can we, people still online at this point in time and listening to my voice, raise those parents up in prayer and say, the Lord, the God of hosts, will deliver them. The Lord God of hosts will bring the prodigal sons back home. And as many that have gone out there into the world, have tasted the world, and are confused of whether to go back home or not, that the Lord will make it clear to them. Why would anyone want to eat food meant for the pig when you can go back to your father and live like a king? We're praying in the mighty name of the Lord Jesus for deliverance for as many that have gone astray, that are sleeping on the street, that the enemy has taken over their soul and has given them up as meat, even to the devil. We are saying they are rescued in the mighty name of the Lord Jesus. If Jesus has gone to the cross and has died and has told us that it is finished, we are saying today, for as many that have gone astray, it is finished. You are being brought back home in the mighty name of the Lord Jesus. I pray for every parent. It shall be joy. We pray that the death on the streets of London or on any street, everywhere in the world, be ceased. Our children, they are good heritage. They are people that will bring us joy. They are not source of sorrow unto us. In the mighty name of Jesus. We thank you, we love you. Jesus loves you as well. God loves you. And we pray that the Lord God of hosts will uphold your homes. In the name of Jesus. Continue to pray for each other. We are blessed. We are victorious. Until we see you next time.
Next time.
God bless you.
God bless.